The following game is being played with History Maker Baseball Express, a product of Play Games LLC, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. If you would like to order a copy of History Maker Baseball Express, or if you would like to check out the other products offered from Play Games, please click on the link provided in the description box below. Welcome everyone to Yankee Stadium. Here for Game 2 of the series as the 1985 Yankees currently lead the series 1-0 over their counterparts from 1927. And as you can see, both teams remain sunny. After a wild, and I mean wild, Game 1, where it was 1-1, then it was then all of a sudden it was a 4-2. Then it became 4-3. Then it was tied at 4, heading into extras in the bottom half of the ninth. But somehow, some way, the 85 Yanks pull out a victory to take Game 1 of that series by a final of 5-4 last game. Ooh, and we are just still recovering from it. Wow. But anyway, this is Game 2 of this series. It's a new game, new life, new pitching matchup as we have Urban Shocker on the mound for the 1927 Yanks as he takes on Phil Niekro from the 85 from the 1927 Yankees counterparts from 1985. Lineups have been exchanged at home plate as we are about ready to play ball here for Game 2 in this series with Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey. And oh, there it is. And we are ready for the second game of this series. Let's do it. From Yankee Stadium, #1 here in the Bronx. And we started off with a 3-4-6. So again, Shocker is fresh. It says pitcher not fresh. Again, the way I work freshness, if you were just joining or tuning in for the first time in this video series, I play it as 3 full fresh and 3 semi-fresh. If the pitcher is pitching a shutout heading into the 7th, he will maintain semi-freshness. So in this case here, pitcher is fresh, so no need to refer to the decider die. So the decider die technically has not been used. Is Ken Griffey a hero batter? He is not. So that's going to be a no-run innings result. Ken Griffey does not have the home run king or slugger qualities since his card is completely full of nothing of batter quality. So he was an average batter from the 1985 card set from Play.com. And it will end up being a no-runs inning of 3 blank to end the top half of the first. And we head now to the bottom half of the first with 85 Yanks nothing, and the 1927 Yankees are coming to bat. 1-4-4. 1-4-4 is Phil Niekro a struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Combs a sad sack batter? He is not. So that's going to end up being a min on base result, -1 for black die of control. Phil Niekro does not have control, so that's going to end up being runners at the corners. There we go. Runners at the corners for a 4 4-4 off of my optional men on base narrative chart for runners at the corners. Dot is 2 hits, blank is multiple runners on base. And again, for the optional men on base narrative chart, those will be linked down below in the description box below. And if you have a copy of History Maker Baseball Express, and if you would like to try out my chart, my homebrew charts for the optional men on base narrative or the RBI question mark qualities, or excuse me, yeah, the RBI question mark or micro RBI results. They are left down in the description box below if you would like to try it out. This will provide more action to the games if you would like to see how the men on base and RBI results came about. So in this case here, let's see here, is the Saturday been used with a 144? Struggling, no, says like no. So no, it was not. So we head to the multiple runners on base with first and third and a red die 1. So we have a walk and a stolen base and a single for Earl Combs in 2 plate appearances. Here's Mark Koenig. And I read the black and blue dice as follows with the 26. Home run king, it's home run. Unfortunately, Mark Koenig is not a home run king, so we will be referring to the red die of 5 for the contact chart. Is Mark Koenig a champion batter? He is not. So that's going to be a pop out to end the first for the 1927 Yanks. And we remain scoreless. Excuse me, as we head to the second inning here at the stadium with goose eggs all on the board. Stepping up to the plate is Don Mattingly. We have a 1-2-3. Is Shocker a workman or struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Don Mattingly a champion batter? He is a semi-champion. The decider die says he is not. And that's going to end up being a no-runs result of 3 dot to end the top half of the second. We head to the bottom half of the second, and Babe Ruth, the Bambino, facing off against Phil Niekro. Nice, it wouldn't be a video without me dropping my dice, so. And again, here's Babe Ruth. Sorry, we have a dot on the decider die and a result of 2, 3, 4 on the main dice. So again, it asks, is pitcher not fresh? And again, the way how I work that question out is if he is not fresh, it's a blank. If he's still fresh, he's a dot. So in this case here, we're still in the first 3 innings. He is still fresh. So we skip ahead to the question that asks us, is Babe Ruth a sad sack batter? He is not. So it's going to end up being a men on base result, -1 for black die if control. The pitcher for the 1985 Yanks, Phil Niekro, does not have control. So that's going to be a player's choice result of either putting the runners on first and second or putting the runner on third. Since it's early and I really don't want to get too greedy, we're just going to play it safe and go with runners on first and second. And it will be, the Saturday was not used. Let me double check. 2, 3, 4, that is going to be 2, 3, 4. So He's fresh, so skip. Sad sack, no. So no, it has not been used. So Babe Ruth will collect 2 hits over his 2 plate appearances, and I will be rolling the red die with 1 and a 6 equaling home run. A 2 and a 5 is a single, 3 is a triple, and 4 is a double. Now, for 1 or 6 die rolls, it's going to be considered a solo home run. So Babe Ruth gets to collect 2 hits. Oh, wait a second. First and second. Oh, I'm sorry. So it was Dot that came up. So unfortunately, so my mistake. Babe Ruth does not collect 2 hits. Does collect 2 hits after all. It's back-to-back singles, and we move ahead to Luke Gehrig. We move ahead to Luke Gehrig. To Luke Gehrig's turn. Now stepping up to the plate here at Yankee Stadium with a scoreless tie. Here in the second. We have a 4:45. It says fresh pitcher gets the ground out, and yes, Phil Niekro is still fresh because we're still in the first 3 innings, so he does get the ground out, and that's going to seal up the second inning for the 1927 Yankees. We head to the third, goose eggs and all, 0-0. Here's Dave Winfield. 1, 2, 5. Pitcher is still fresh. Is Winfield a champion batter? He is not. So that's going to be a no runs result of 2 blank. And that will seal up the top half of the third for the 85 Yanks. And we head now to the bottom half of the third with the score of 0-0, goose egg all around. Here's Bob Musel. 1-4-5. Is Niekro an ace or dynamic pitcher? No, he is not. Is Bob Musel a sad sack batter? No dice, Chief. So that's going to be a men on base result, -1 for black die if flash. Phil Niekro does have semi-flash. The decider die says he does. So that's going to be a black die. That black die will be reduced from a 4 to a 3, as it will be another player's choice. And again, not going to be greedy here in the first 3 innings, as we will keep the runners on first and second, and we will need to re-roll the decider die since it was used for determining if Phil Niekro had semi-flash. And Bob Musel will pick up 2 walks over 2 plate appearances. We head now to Tony Lazzeri for the men on base chart. 34. Slugger hits double. Tony Lazzeri is a semi-slugger. The decider die says he is a slugger. So that is going to be a double for Tony Lazzeri. And the runners will advance 2 bases on doubles. So the runner on first will head to third. And the score is now 1927 Yanks 1 and the 1985 Yanks 0. Thanks to Tony Lazzeri's RBI double. off of Phil Negro off the Men on Base chart. Here's Julie Wera. 455. I'm sorry, excuse me, 45. We're still on the Men on Base chart. Sorry. 45. Phil Negro is still fresh. He will get the ground out. And that's going to end the third inning here at the stadium. And your score is 1927 Yankees 1, and their counterparts from 1985 with a big fat goose egg 0. Ron Hassey will lead things off here in the top half of the fourth. And we will get things going here with a 3.55. Is Shocker a star pitcher? You bet your butt he is. It's going to be a no runs result of 3 blank off of the no runs narrative chart, and that is going to seal up the Yankees' the 1985 Yanks' fourth inning, as they are held scoreless through 4 innings of a overall score of 1-0. Here's Johnny Grabowski to lead off the bottom half of the fourth with a 1.55. Is Negro an ace pitcher? No, he is not. Is Grabowski a hero batter? He's a semi-hero. The Decider Die says he is. It's going to be an optional men on base narrative chart, and unfortunately, not going to cut it, as Johnny Grabowski is going to end up being caught for a no runs narrative result of 5 blank, as his running quality is stoic. And again, off the men on base chart with a base running adjustment symbol, stoic is -1. So since the black die was 1, 1 minus 1 equals 0. It's going to end up being a no runs result of 5 blank to end the fourth inning, with the score remaining 1-0 in favor of the 1927 Yankees. Here's Willie Randolph to lead off the fifth inning in a tight game, in a tight pitching duel, same way how the last game started. And the 85 Yankees do the same, try to tie this game up. 1-2-4. 1-2-4 is Shocker an ace pitcher? No, he is not. Is Willie Randolph a champion batter? No, he is not. So that's going to be a no runs result of 1 blank, since the Decider Die was not used. And that will end the top half of the fifth for the 85 Yanks. And the score heading into the bottom half is still 1-0 in favor of the 1927 New York Yankees. And either way, this may be Phil Negro's last inning, depending on if he can keep the score right where it is against Earl Combs. Two, 4, 5. It's going to be. Is Phil Negro a struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Combs a sad sack batter? No, he is not. So that's going to end up being a men on base result, -1 for black die of flash control. Phil Negro has semi-flash. The decider die says he does not have it, so that's going to end up being a runners on second and third result, and it's going to end up getting another reroll of the decider die. With dot is 2 hits, blank is multiple runners on base. And it's going to be multiple runners on base with a red die of 4, running runners on second and third. It's going to end up being a hit by pitch in one appearance, a single in the other, and another single, this time with runners advances 2 bases and a stolen base. For Earl Combs. And now to Mark Koenig to see if we can extend the lead even further and try to knock out Phil Negro here in the 5th inning. 26. Home run king, it's home run. Mark Koenig is not a home run king. It's going to be a contact result of 5. Is Koenig a champion batter? He is not. And that is going to end up being a pop out to end the 5th inning, as the 1927 Yankees can extend, and Phil Negro keeps the 85 Yanks in this ball game as they try to look to take a 2-0 series lead heading to right back here at Yankee Stadium for Game 3, as we head to a more modernized version of Yankee Stadium 1 for Game 3. We head to the top of the 6th. The score remains 1927 Yankees 1, and their counterparts from 1985 nothing. Here is Pagliarulo. The 1-2-2 is Shocker a struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Pagliarulo a champion batter? He is not. So that's going to end up being a no runs result of 2 dot for Mr. Mike Pagliarulo. And that's going to be the end of the top half of the 6th. The score remains 1-0 in favor of the 1927 New York Yankees. The Bambino, Babe Ruth, is waiting his turn to get into the game. Excuse me, is already in the game, but is waiting for his turn at bat so patiently against Phil Negro. This may be his last inning, as we see the bullpen beginning to stir down at Monument Park, out beyond Monument Park. 1-2-3. Is Negro a workman or struggler? No, he is not. Is Babe Ruth a champion batter? He's a semi-champion. The decider die says he is not. And unfortunately, that will be a no-runs result of 3 blank. And that will do it for the 6th inning here at the stadium. And we are going to now see. So at this point, Urban Shocker retains freshness because he is pitching a shutout. So he retains semi-freshness quality according to the rules of the game. As Bob Meacham will step up to the plate here in the top half of the 7th inning. 455. 455 is Urban Shocker a workman pitcher? No, he is not. Is Meacham a utility batter? He is a utility batter, so the decider dice, excuse me, the result, I should say, the result will now be a no runs result of 5 blank. Let me just double check. 455. Workman no, utility yes. So it was not used. So the no runs result will be a 5 blank, and Urban Shocker is through 7 innings of shutout baseball here at the stadium as the 1927 Yankees look to tie the series up at 1 game apiece. And as the folks here are treated to the 7th inning stretch entertainment here at Yankee Stadium, let's see if Phil Niekro is going to continue in this ball game. But first, let's see if the 87 Yankees pen is active. Dot, it is. It is. So, is Phil Niekro going to be taken out of this game? He will be. So, Phil Niekro will be done after, will be taken out of this game after all. So while the fans here at Yankee Stadium enjoy a rousing rendition of "Take Me Out to the," or excuse me, a beautiful rendition of "God Bless America," followed by "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," we will take a timeout to allow the 1985 Yanks to make a pitching change, and we will go to a timeout right now. We are about set to get ready for the bottom half of the 7th with the new pitcher on the mound for the 1985 Yanks in Mike Armstrong, as he is a star, flash, and double control pitcher. He will be facing Lou Gehrig to lead off the bottom half of the 7th here at Yankee Stadium. 245. And it will be, is Armstrong a struggler? No, he is not. Is Gehrig a sad sack batter? He is not. So it'll be a men on base result, -1 for black die if flash or control. He has both flash and double control, so that in total is going to be taking away 3 points off of the black die. So 5 minus 3 is going to be a 2. So that is going to end up being putting the runner on second base with a 2 and a 2. It's going to be an official scorer's decision. The decider die was not used. 245. No. Yeah, so the decider die was not used. It will be a double for Lou Gehrig to begin the top half of the 7th inning, or excuse me, the bottom half of the 7th, I should say. Bob Buzel will the mob chart, or the men on base chart that comes with the game. And we will read the black and blue dice as such with an 11. And it will be batting team harmony or pitching team dissonant. The batting team is the 1927 Yanks. They are harmonious in case of the sun equality. So we're in the 7th inning or later, so they become full harmonious. It will be a single, and the runners will advance 1 base, and that will put a runners at the corners situation here for Tony Ziri. '24. Goldfielder makes the out. Ricky Henderson is a semi-gold. The decider die says he is. That is going to be a flyout. So that will strand the runners at first and third, and we head now to the 8th inning with the score 1927 Yankees 1 and the 1985 Yankees nothing. With Urban Shocker still out there on the mound, but just in case if he starts to lose it, as they would say, is the bullpen active for the 1927 Yanks? They are. So they are not. They're not active, so Urban Shocker and the manager tells Shocker, this is your game to finish out. You can do this because the bullpen is not active. They're telling you, hey, you could do this to tie the series. Series up, just go in there and win this game for us. And can he do it with Ken Griffey Sr. taking his turn up at the dish? 145. Is Shocker an ace or dynamic pitcher? He is not. Is Griffey a stat sack batter? He is not. So that's going to be a -1 for Black Die if the pitcher has flash. Shocker does not have flash, so that's going to end up being a runner on first with a walk. So Ken Griffey Jr. gets on base via the walk on my optional men on base narrative chart, and that'll set up the stage for Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball, off of the men on base chart. 16, Good Eye rolls again. Don Mattingly is a semi-good eye. The decider die says he is. We will get to re-roll again. And what it said. 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out, and he is semi-fresh. The decider die says he is fresh. So it will be a ground out to end the 8th inning. And so far, it has been a tight, and I mean tight pitching duel between both the 85 Yanks and the 1927 Yanks. As we head to the bottom half of the 8th, Julie Wera will step up to the plate with a 1-0 lead for his team. Facing Mike Armstrong. 2-2-4. Is Armstrong an ace pitcher? No, he is not. Is Julie Wera a utility batter? He is not. So that's going to end up being a men on base result, -1 for the black die. If control, Mike Armstrong has double control, so that is going to be a no-runs inning, because 2 minus 2 is 0, and it will immediately and automatically become a no-runs result of 4 blank to end the 8th inning for the 1927 Yankees. And so far in this game, the score remains 1-0. Urban Shocker is heading back out to the mound. The bullpen has faith. His team has faith in him to get this complete game shutout. Let's see if he can do it against Dave Winfield to tie the series up at 1 game apiece. .455. Is Shocker a workman pitcher? No, he is not. Is Dave Winfield a 455? Is Dave Winfield a utility batter? He is not. So that's going to end up being a men on base result, -1 for black die if flash or control. Urban Shocker has double control, so we're gonna take away 2. And you know what? The 85 Yanks, they want to get some runs. They're going to put Winfield on third spoil the shutout and spoil the attempt of the shutout, and it will be a 3-5. It'll be an official scorer's decision. The decider die was not used, I believe. Let me double check. 455. Workman, no. Utility, no. So yeah, no. The decider die says dot. It will be a triple for Dave Winfield. And Urban Shocker is starting to believe, to see what the situation here is going on. To preserve the complete game shutout still, you must get past Ron Hassey to preserve it. Here we go to the men on base chart. 24, Goldfielder makes the out. Grabowski does not have gold, so that's going to be an error. Save it first. Runners advance a base. And just like that, the 1985 Yankees spoiled the shutout, spoiled the fun, and they have spoiled a lot of mad 1927 Yankees fans here at Old Yankee Stadium as they tie the game in the top half of the ninth with the score of 1-all. And Willie Randolph is stepping up to the plate off the men on base chart. 14, Scrapper hits single. Willie Randolph is a semi-scrapper. The decider die says he is not. That is going to be a double and an RBI, and they take the lead 2-1. Man, oh man, the game of baseball, the baseball gods can love you, they can hate you at the same time. You love it and you hate it at the same time, man. But that's the way the game is played. Mike Pegliarulo, sorry if I butchered names, steps up to the plate. And before he does, is the pen active for the 1927 Yanks? Dot, they are. And they are not. They're putting faith. Whoops. It was a blank. They are still having faith in Urban Shocker to get them out of the inning, to force the Yankees to have another turn at bat. See if they can tie this game up to head to extras for the second game in a row in the bottom half of the ninth. 34, Slugger hits double. Pegliarulo is not a slugger, so it's going to be a single, runners advance, 2 bases, and that's going to put the game out of reach, so to speak, as Shocker is potentially going to end up being the losing pitcher here if the 1927 Yankees don't come up with something, if the 1927 Yankees come up with something to tie the game. I think the last one was, I believe, a 14. Yes, it was. I'm sorry. Yes, it was. It was a 14. I believe. So hang on for a second. Timeout. Sorry about the delay, everybody. So after further review, I looked at the footage. So it was a single. It was a 34 slugger. Meacham is not a slugger, the previous batter did not have a slugger, so it would end up being a single and an end of inning result, putting the 1985 Yankees ahead of the 1927 Yankees 3-1 as we head to the bottom half of the ninth. And barring a comeback from the 1927 Yankees in the bottom half of the ninth, we may see extras for the second game in a row here in this series. And Johnny Grabowski may be the guy to send him there, to send the 1927 Yankees to extras. 155 is Mike Armstrong an ace pitcher? No, sir, he is not. Is Grabowski a hero batter? He is a semi-hero. The decider die says he is a hero, so that's going to end up being a men on base result. A men on base result with a base running adjustment symbol, and that will end up being a 5-4 is going to be runners at the corners. The tying runs are on base. The tying run is on base. And hang on a second. Got to see what Grabowski ended up with a 4 and a 5 on first and third. We'll need to re-roll the decider die. Dot is back-to-back singles. Blank is back-to-back singles. And it'll be back-to-back hits, back-to-back singles for Johnny Grabowski, as the tying runs are on base. They're trying to take the heat off of Urban Shocker from getting the loss, as the plan is to have the Yankees go to the pen either way. And let's see if the Yankees can try to at least pull off a victory to tie the series up at 1 game apiece. Otherwise, the 1985 Yanks are going to take a 2-0 series lead heading into Game 3 to a modernized Yankee Stadium 1. 56. Patient draws the walk. No, patient. Earl Combs is not a patient batter, so it'll be a contact result of 1. And unfortunately, that will not be enough to mount a huge comeback. So with that being said, it'll be an RBI result. Otherwise, it's Flash versus Whiffer. Excuse me. Mike Armstrong does have Flash, but Earl Combs does not have Whiffer. So that is going to be your ball game, folks. The 1985 Yankees come from behind, down 1-0, to take a 3-1 lead in the to the bottom half of the ninth. But the 1927 Yankees will not go quietly, as they score one more run to make the score be a final, with the 1985 Yankees winning it and taking Game 2 of this series, putting the 1927 Yankees on the brink of elimination in this series, even though they are still going to be the team to beat throughout this project. Your final score here in Game 2 is the 1985 Yankees 3 and their counterparts from 1927, the 1927 Yankees 2.